Whenever you open a bottle of Guinness, it goes. And whenever you pour out a bottle of Guinness, it goes. Which tells you that it's perfectly mature, perfectly alive. And ready to drink. Imagine you're very, very thirsty. You go down to the pub and order a cold Guinness. You pour it gently, watching the familiar head forming through the cool, dark body. You take a long drink. It tastes clean, natural, and deeply refreshing. Cold Guinness. Doesn't that look good? At Bodiam Farm in Sussex, they grow some of the finest hops in the world. And they all go to Guinness, where they are blended with homegrown barley and our own special strain of yeast, and brewed into a beer that is quite simply unique. So, if anyone ever asks you how Guinness is made, you'll know how to tell them.
Of course, you'll never guess how it's made.
Don't tell me. It grows on trees.
To brew a beer like Guinness, you need the special roasted barley, malt, and hops.
How's it going, then?
And at least 200 years' experience.
Oh, it's coming along?
However, most people take home Guinness with the shopping.
Leslie.
Well, you're going to need some empty bottles, aren't you? All right.
Yeah, it's all right.
Take home Guinness and make a lot of it.
And a pint of Guinness, please, George.
You wait till
It's a bit of an art, pouring a pint of Guinness. To pour it slowly and evenly. To conjure the perfect head, clean and white, from out of the cool, dark depths of the beer. And of course, when you create a work of art, it's nice to dedicate it to someone.
Make it quick, lads.
Could we see the menu, please?
Shepherd's pie, beans, steak and kidney, ham and tomato, cheese and pickles, Scotch eggs, sausages.
Hot sausages.
Very.
I'll have a ham sandwich. Shepherd's pie for me, I think. Oh, and a bottle of something to go with it. What would you recommend?
There's one drink at lunchtime that, because of its dry, full flavour, goes down exceptionally well with shepherd's pie, beans, steak and kidney, ham and tomato,
Would
cheese.
Sarah like to taste it?
You may have noticed that Guinness is different from other beers. There's no secret about this. It's the way we roast our barley that gives Guinness its dark, distinctive looks and its clean, dry taste. Which, on reflection, is why some people can't see themselves drinking any other beer.
Fancy seeing you here?
After work, there are some people who relax.
2 pints of Guinness, please. Won't be a second.
And there are some who carry on working.
Right, gents. 2 pints of Guinness, please.
Guinness. There's the gentle pour, the casual separation into black and white. And then, after a hard day, the first slow, rewarding taste. Or would you rather go on working? People have funny drinking habits. There's the shoeshine drinker, the panel beater, the twister, tap dancer, the change machine, and the Guinness drinker. Watch the calm, unhurried way they enjoy one of the most rewarding drinks in the world. Ask for Guinness where you see this sign.
How about a game of arrows?
Getting married in half an hour, remember?
Come on. It's a funny thing. But whenever one of my mates gets married, they always ask me to be best man. Don't know why. I suppose they think they can rely on me to keep calm and in control. Goes with the Guinness. I mean, when you've got something with flavour all the way through, you don't have to down it in one. Can you imagine a calmer, more sensible way to drink?
The ring, John. Have you got the ring?
There's a certain pleasure in slowly putting away the black.
I've missed more goals this season than United centre forward. Switch the telly on, give it a good kick, nice picture, few swigs, and then I'm off to get a refill. Meanwhile, they've scored, they would have missed a penalty. What has happened? Until the wife brought home some Guinness. I should have known. Normally I drink Guinness when I go to the pub just for a one. You know, make it a good one. Guinness keeps its head and its flavour right up till half-time, till I'm ready for another. My team still has its ups and downs, but I don't.
If you know the rules, cricket's the best game there is. Rule number 1, be a slow bowler, not a fast one. 2, make a name for yourself in the slips, instead of all this outfield running. Nice try. 3, bat number 5 or 6. Then before you go in, you've plenty of time for a nice cold Guinness. I say cold Guinness, I'll tell you why. Because Guinness starts off with so much flavour. You don't just taste the cold when it's cold, you can still taste the Guinness. Whoa, look at that. Number 4, go for boundaries. Saves all that running up and down between wickets. Of course, you'll not be out there long, but with another 5 men to go in after you, you've plenty of time for another cold Guinness, haven't you? Bad luck. It's a grand game, is cricket.
And now for the weather around the world. In Bermuda today, temperatures rose to a scorching 100 degrees. While in the Greek island of Corfu, tourists sweltered at 95. In the Algarve, it was 90 in the shade, 10 degrees more than Mallorca. Meanwhile, back here in Britain, some people were a little cooler.
Two bottles of Guinness and a bucket of ice water, please. Ah, you won't need the iced water. Cold Guinness. I always keep the Guinness on the cold shelf when the weather's hot. But still keeps its head. Still keeps its flavour. See? Try it. Go on.
Well, just the iced water, then. Samson, it doesn't like Guinness. Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's face it, Pete, you're a sportsman. What a collection.
Remember Mexico 1970?
Oh, yeah. England 2, West Germany 0. Was that the final score?
That was the score when I finished that particular Guinness.
Oh, yeah.
What a feeling. National pride, triumph.
Furthermore, triumph and national pride.
Nicely put, Dad. At one with the world, I poured myself another long, cool Guinness.
Why didn't you mount that one?
Well, by the time I'd finished it, the Germans won the match, so I chucked it at the telly.
Oh, right, yeah. About time we got it fixed, isn't it?
No mad rush, Dad.
Oh, no.
Finish your Guinness first.
With a big match, there's nothing like a Guinness.
You know, this is one Guinness I'll never forget, Dad.
Oh, it's empty, Pete.
Why how would I never forget it if I hadn't drunk it?
Oh, yeah.
Sausage, egg, chips, beans and gravy.
Hold on, Shirley Powell.
Who else?
Yeah.
A culinary tone poem.
Oh, what?
Washed down with a Guinness which can only be described as perfection.
Oh, I know.
Cool, dry, slightly bitter.
Bitter.
Perfectly offsetting Shirley's immaculate baked beans. An unforgettable repast, Dad.
An unforgettable girl, Pete.
Truly unforgettable.
When was this unforgettable repast?
I forget, Dad.
Yeah, of course you do. Bound to pressure of the world.
With a very special meal,
Isn't it? No,
there's
yeah.
nothing like a Guinness.
I'm talking today to Sir Arthur Street Greebling. Good Greebling. Sir Arthur's fishing technique simply consists of drinking Guinness.
Yes, I just wait here until the sensitive nostrils of the trout detect the cool, slightly bitter charms of the Guinness and, inflamed with desire, leap into this frying pan here.
Fascinating. How long have you been doing this, Sir Arthur?
43 years.
How many trout have you caught?
Up to this moment, none.
Ah,
But these commemorate some of my near misses. Or to put it another way, away from the misses. You care for Guinness?
oh, I'd love one, yes, thank you.
Well, there's a pub over there about 6 miles away.
For a hard day's fishing, there's nothing like a Guinness.
And this chap said to me, you seem to be quite partial to Guinness. I said, partial? More than partial. Each one contains a fond memory, like the one I had when we thrashed the old wind. After extra time. And the can I savoured whilst gardening. There's nothing like the great outdoors. Indoors, Granny's gastronomic delights. Definitely worth a detour. Mutton pie. Mutton pie. Yet again. And why haven't you mounted these? He said smartly. What these, he says, bringing them up? These are returnables. You get money back in them.
Now watch, Muriel. You stir the oxo till it dissolves. Oh. Muriel, do you want me to show you this recipe or don't you? Yes, of course. Oh, aren't I hopeless? And you're such a practical little thing. The trouble is, I always seem to be thinking of something else. He thinks I'm quite mad. Only he doesn't really mind because he says a woman's thoughts should rise above the kitchen. Muriel, if you weren't my best friend, you'd be my worst enemy.
The dish I was trying to show Muriel is made of stewing steak, vegetables and oxo gravy. You'll find that the rich flavour of oxo will add such a good savoury taste. Now cover with a suet pastry lid and see how oxo gives the meal man appeal.
That was jolly good. Do you think I could have a little more?
Give me a plate, dear. Oh, really, Philip, you might at least wait till we've all finished. You spoil him, Mother. Oh, that's the mother-in-law's privilege. Doesn't Katie feed you properly at home?
Oh, you know, the usual thing. Bread and scraps and the occasional packet of chips.
Steak and mushroom sauce is one of Philip's favourites. Brown the steak in hot fat and add fried mushrooms and an onion, Worcester sauce and tomato paste, and 2 oxo cubes. You'd think there was magic in an oxo cube, the difference it makes. But it's just the 9 good ingredients that each oxo cube is made from. Beef stock, beef extract, protein. Is there any wonder a dish tastes better for those ingredients? Pour in the oxo stock, cover and simmer for an hour. And see how oxo gives the meal man appeal.
We're getting very original meals all of a sudden.
Oh, did you notice?
Of course, don't I always?
Well, it's my new meat cookery book from Oxo. I thought I'd try a new recipe. Did you really like it?
The food? Oh, yes, that was fine, but what I was talking about was the new table mats.
The recipe was for a very special kind of casserole of beef. You fry the meat and onions, add the other ingredients, and finally pour on a good, rich Oxo stock. Cook slowly, and it absorbs Oxo's 9 good ingredients to become tender and delicious. And Oxo gives the meal man appeal.
This is Katie at 3. Wasn't she sweet?
Not bad. What happened?
Look at her. She was so healthy, such an appetite. She just ate and ate.
No change there, anyway.
Oh, coming from you, that's pretty good.
One of the champion eaters' favourite dishes is pork hot pot. Pork, onions and potatoes cooked slowly together in a rich Oxo stock. Oxo's 9 good ingredients make it smell deliciously meaty and taste even better.
You've grown up into quite a good little cook, Katie.
Nice to know there's been some improvement.
You know, Mike, if I'm going to go on playing squash, I'm going to have to take off a bit of weight. Give up bread and potatoes, and pastry, and spaghetti, and...
Philip's bringing Mike home with him to lunch, so I'm making them a great big bowl of spaghetti with meat sauce. I used Oxo in that sauce because inside every Oxo cube there's beef, onions, spices, and 6 other good ingredients to give it a rich and meaty flavour. That's how Oxo gives the meal man appeal.
Spaghetti? You know, Mike, I think I'm going to have to give up squash instead.
Philip, darling, could you? All he needs is deep burping. You know, put him across your shoulder and give him a kind of rub.
Just while I make the gravy. Philip likes his gravy rich and meaty, so I crumble in a couple of Oxo cubes. Each Oxo cube is made from 9 good ingredients. Good things like beef, onion, and spices that add richness and colour to all your cooking. That's how Oxo gives the meal man appeal.
Now, how are you boys getting on?
Well, on the whole, I think Father and Baby are doing fine.
Just over there, Philip.
Alex, for goodness sake, mind the pace.
Alex! Thank heavens, that'll be Katie with the food. Hello. Jane, how's things going?
I knew Jane would be too busy moving into her new house to cope with much cooking, so I brought over a good big stew from home. I made it with an extra rich Oxo stock. I find that Oxo's 9 good ingredients like beef stock, onion, and spices give even the simplest meal man appeal.
Delicious.
Next weekend, you must come and have lunch with us.
Yes, and don't forget to bring it with you.
Why does Oxo make a difference to your cooking?
It takes 9. It takes 9 good things to make each little cube.
It takes protein,
at least armed suspects inside the house. Hence,
What time they're coming home, it's good to try something that's rather special, but quick to cook, like lamb kebabs. Marinate the lamb the night before in 1/4 pint of oxo made with 2 cubes, some oil and vinegar. Then when you're ready to cook it, the meat's really tender and tasty. Oh, and while it's grilling, brush the lamb with more oxo. It moistens it and gives it even more flavour. Lamb kebabs with oxo. This will keep a hungry man happy. Leeks are a very good buy at the moment, and so is liver. So why not try them together in a leek and liver casserole? Leeks make a very nice change from the usual onions, especially when they're wrapped in these liver pieces. Now for some good, rich oxo stock. 2 cubes in 1/2 pint of water. Casseroling in oxo keeps the liver tender and moist. Keeps a hungry man happy. It's a casserole full of good things, at a very good price.
Oxo, in your cooking. Oxo, in your cooking.
I mean, Mum says to me, son, I hope you're not just marrying a pair of legs. I mean, what about the, I says, Mum, you've never tasted such in all your life. Take last night, kidneys, mushrooms, tomatoes, all done in this beautiful oxo gravy. Mum just says marry her. Funny how mums know. You know what I mean?
Oxo gives a meal man appeal.
My Mrs. Carol, she's only so high. I can pick her up with one hand. I tell you what she can do, though. Sweet loaf tonight. The pastry round it. Plenty of good oxo gravy. And guess what she put near this morning? See you tonight, darling.
Oxo gives a meal man appeal.
There where it counts, in the gravy.
This morning, when Mrs. Preston was making that steak and kidney pie, she added a little extra protein, some good rich beef stock, a little flour, some caramel, a pinch of salt, 2 different kinds of pepper, blended to give just the right subtle seasoning, a touch of celery salt, some onion. Who'd cook without onion? And lastly, a dash of beef extract to give the whole thing the kind of good, rich, meaty flavour her men really enjoy. It took her 30 seconds. That's all it need take you. Oxo. Red for beef, golden for chicken. Here's one of the most familiar things in your kitchen cupboard, a red OXO cube. Have you ever wondered what you'd need if you set out to make your own OXOs? You'd need that, this, these. You'd need onion, protein, beef, and a whole lot of other things as well. And at the end of it all, you'd realize, perhaps for the first time, just why these simple little cubes aren't simple at all. Just why they do what they do for so much that you cook. OXO, red for beef, golden for chicken.
The great British taste of great British cooking. The savor, the flavor, wrapped in a cube. The great little cube. The red one for beef, the golden for chicken. The savor, the flavor of the great little cube.
Oh, he's arrived!
The great-hearted taste of great-hearted cooking. The savor, the flavor, wrapped in a cube. That great little cube. The savor, the flavor of the great little cube.
Some days I know he's had his fill of that boat. Still, it's in his blood. And all that salt air gives him some appetite. Well, nowadays it's not so easy, price of things, you know. I've only got sausages for him tonight. Still, you can turn sausages into a good square meal if you know how. A nice OXO gravy will make all the difference. Turn those sausages into a proper meal. OXO makes a lovely gravy, all beefy and dark. And it's gravy that makes a meal. How are the Bahamas today, Captain?
Oh, the usual. Sun, surf. Dusky maiden.
I don't know why you bother coming home.
OXO keeps a hungry man happy.
This bar's cheaply run. 130 miles a gallon, and what a smooth ride. Get your hair cut, you horrible little man. 6 different models to choose from. A Vespa is the in thing to be out of. Inspect the Vespa yourself. And go, Vespa!
I'm rather good at crosswords. Trouble is, they make them too easy. 6 down, let's see. Down, 4-letter word beginning with E and ending in S. A valuable food rich in protein.
Eggs.
I beg your pardon.
A valuable food rich in proteins is eggs.
It is not eggs, it is eels.
It is eggs.
It is eels. I've written it down and it fits.
But if it was eggs, then 7 across would be pig.
It is not pig, it is pie.
But look at the clue. Pork, and you may hear it grunting.
Well, you've heard of a pork pie, haven't you?
I've never heard of one grunting. Look, change pie to pig and pal to dog, and you've got eggs. And they're rich in protein and a very valuable food. Good value with egg shapes. Can you resist libido?
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar from Benson and Hedges.
Looks as if the famous Arthur is having a spot of bother with the little boy next door. Mind you, he's only got himself to blame, telling everyone about Catameat's nice juicy liver and tasty gravy. Not to mention all those delicious vitamins, A, E, B1, B2, B12. And he must have said vitamins never tasted so good at least 100 times. Next time he opens his mouth, perhaps he'd be better off just putting his foot in it. Catameat, vitamins never tasted so good.
Ah, excellent, eh? Hey, there's this. Susanna Dry, huh? Haven't seen this in so long, Latour. Have they done it again, we ask ourselves? Ah, only we. Ah, a new, light, sophisticated, dry drink that is quintessentially dry. Oh, pity Melissa isn't here. She'd enjoy this.
New Cinzano Dry, the dry Cinzano.
When you're 5 and new at school, you get free milk every day. Milk builds bones. Milk toughens growing bodies. And it's free. Until you're 11. If you're 12 or older, there's no free school milk anymore. But you're still growing. You still need lots of milk. So what's the answer? If there's no free milk at school, are you giving them extra at home? See they get enough milk, Mum.
Enzo Ferrari, Italy's greatest name in motoring, has been discussing motor oils with me. Signor Ferrari, why do you use Shell?
My faith in Shell springs from my experience, first as a racing driver, then as a director of the Ferrari racing team, and finally as a car manufacturer. 13 world championships have been the result of this happy association with Shell.
The oil Shell develops for Ferrari is the oil Shell develops for you. You've read in your paper how Shell tests their oil. Now try it for yourself, for the good of your car. Go well, go Shell oil.
When your child was still at primary school, he got the bodybuilding nourishment of milk at school free. But remember, there's no free milk at secondary school. Now, their milk is up to you, Mum.
It's tingling fresh. It's fresh as ice. It's Gibbs SR toothpaste, the tingling fresh toothpaste that does your gums good too. The tingle you get when you brush with SR is much more than a nice taste. It's a tingle of health. It tells you something very important, that you're doing your gums good and toughening them to resist infection. And as this chart shows, gum infection is the cause of more tooth losses than decay itself. The tingle in SR comes from sodium ricinoleate, a substance which both dental research and years of use in dental practice have shown to be good for the gums. So, to keep your teeth white as snow, your gums really healthy, and your breath really fresh, see your dentist regularly and brush with SR, the tingling fresh toothpaste for teeth and gums. Gibbs SR.
New colored Lux. Yes, now there's green Lux, pink Lux, yellow, and blue Lux, as well as pure white Lux. Not one color, but 5 to choose from.
Fragrant Lux, beauty care of the stars. So good for your complexion.
In matching foil, green, pink, yellow, blue, and white Lux in golden foil. Lux for you.
Love makes their world a happy world, and it shows. It shows in the warmth of a mother's smile. It shows in the way she sees her family as comfortable and cared for. It shows in the fact that she gets Purcell to look after their clothes, because she knows that Purcell gets things just that important bit whiter. Purcell is kind to her hands. It copes with the biggest family wash. Purcell is thorough. It washes whiter. And it shows.
Today is the second anniversary of his operation, so I thought we'd celebrate. I went and bought some Aberdeen Angus beef, marinated it overnight in olive oil, crushed garlic, and shot a bottled claret. And this morning I cut it into strips, dusted it with flour and paprika, fried it in butter, added some cream. He hated it. He said he wanted this, stuff.
New chunky meat.
These new cars, sir, is the high compression. Now, I know what you're going to say, sir. What's this got to do with super shell? It's a very good question. Yes, that is a very good question, sir. Yes. Now, take this high compression. You see, the high compression, how shall I put it, that means that the compression itself it's high. I beg your pardon? It's high. Which is why I repeat, you must use super shell with ICA. But I always do. So do I. Well, naturally, we all do. Now, take this as your pistol. What? This is take that as your pistol, sir. Oh. Now, on top of it is the cylinder head. Now, what's this? Deposit. Exactly. You know. And that's where the ICA comes in. Obviously, it's going to pre-ignite on account of the heat. What we call pre-ignition. Yes, but ICA cures this.
But I leave all these technicalities to you experts.
Ah, but the most important thing about super shell is... What? It's the real wet stuff for cars.
I mean happy motoring. No, it's the sound of music. That's it! Benissimo! Esso sign means happy motoring. Esso sign means happy motoring. Esso sign means happy motoring. Call up the Esso sign for Esso Gold. When you use Esso Golden, you feel you're driving a better car. And you are. Call up the Esso sign for Esso Golden. Golden, golden, golden. Like.
He's out right in.
He's out.
Do you know where he is?
Just a minute, I'll look at his caps.
His work cap's here. His football cap's here. His John Smith's cap's here. His fishing cap's missing. He's fishing.
When it comes to John Smith's Yorkshire Bitter, never judge a person by appearances.
Kellogg's, the original cornflakes, and still the best. Golden, fresh, crispy, tasty. Kellogg's cornflakes. Crispy, tasty, wakey, wakey, wakey.
SO sign means happy motoring. SO sign means happy motoring. SO sign means happy motoring. Call it the SO sign, right, Joe? For SO Extra. Sure, the SO sign means happy motoring. SO sign means happy motoring. SO sign means happy motoring. Call it the SO sign. Dad. For SO Extra. The SO sign means happy motoring. SO sign means happy motoring. SO sign means happy motoring. Call the SO sign the new. For SO Extra.
Yes, indeed, look here. Yes, SO sign means happy motoring. SO sign means happy motoring. SO sign means happy motoring. So the next time we're in Sandfast for Swingis, go Gerich, when Robert Landicilio, go, go, go. Call it the SO sign, isn't it?
For SO Extra. Call it the SO sign.
That man down! Sorry, you just have to wait. I'm finishing me merriment. The too good to hurry mint.
Merriments, merriments, too good to hurry mints. Why make haste when you can taste the hint of mint in merriments?
Merriments, merriments, too good to hurry mints.
Merriments, merriments, too good to hurry mints.
Delicious. Now to war.
Treat yourself to Murray Mints, the too good to hurry mints, with a delicious hint of mint.
Merriments, merriments, too good to hurry mints.
This is Jimmy Hill, Fulham's famous bearded inside right, shaving his beard off with the new Remington, the world's fastest shave. See how the new Remington just wipes away Jimmy's beard, leaving his face perfectly smooth and clean. And just look at the size of the new Remington shaving surface. 3 twin shaving heads give you the world's fastest shave. Jimmy Hill, clean-shaven and delighted with his Remington shave.
Introducing Johnny Haynes, one of 12 famous soccer stars whose picture card you'll find in Kellogg's delicious whole wheat flakes.
Can I have your autograph, please, Mr. Haynes?
Sure, son. You can get this album for your cards free. It's the taste I like in Kellogg's whole wheat flakes, and I reckon they help give me energy.
It's the cereal with the goodness of the whole wheat grain. Start collecting your cards now.
It takes something special to get Georgie Best away from football.
What the man means is, Cookstown are the best family sausages.
An oil filter is like a goalkeeper. The more it saves, the better it is. And that's why you should always choose a Unipart filter. And save your engine from grime, dirt, and pollution.
One of these suits, made to measure by a well-known London tailor, cost 38 guineas. The other, in the same quality all-wool cloth, was made to measure by Burton's. Cost 18 guineas against 38 guineas. 20 guineas difference. We asked groups of people if they could tell which was the more expensive suit. 7 out of 10 thought the Burton suit more expensive. There, 20 guineas difference, yet most people prefer the suit made by Burton.
Strand, the new tipped cigarette. Wonderful value at 3 and 2 for 20.
never forget that day. We were so happy, we just ran. It was crazy to try and light our players in that wind, but we did. How good they tasted. We could hardly hear ourselves talk, so we just smoked and listened to the sea.
It takes a lot to get George Best away from football, but one thing always works, his mum's cooking, especially when it's Cookstown sausages. Dependably fresh, dependably delicious. George loves their pure meaty goodness. So do all the family, cause Cookstown sausages make a real big meal.
What the man means is, Cookstown are the best family sausages.
Buy Cookstown sausages.
Proves umpteen times in a mile what you get with a seatbelt. It's not just for the odd shunt. It makes you comfortable, you're relaxed in your seat, you can concentrate on control. Everyday driving, too, with so much traffic about. It's not just for the once-in-a-lifetime shunt. It's for everyday comfort. You can't do much to get away from the traffic these days.
Be like Paddy Hopkirk. Wear your seatbelt always. You know it makes sense. Whoa!
My troubles were soon over. I even got a bonus last week. Oh, yes, I say thank you to Lifebuoy toilet soap.
You know, personal freshness is important for everyone, men as well as women, and all year round, too, not only in summer, but also in winter. Because, you know, we wear lots of clothes and try and keep our rooms warm and cozy. So quite often the atmosphere gets rather hot and stuffy, and some people may perspire quite a bit. Now, that's where Mum Roulette, the first ever roll-on deodorant and antiperspirant, is such a blessing. In one gliding action, it stops odor and checks perspiration for a full 24 hours. And Mum Roulette is so economical, too. No drips, spills, or waste. By inverting the bottle just once, just the right amount of lotion is obtained from one application.
Something was wrong with Joe, too. Off his food, by the look of it. No, it wasn't Joe that was off. It was the cold meat, which was just about ready to go for a little walk on its own. Oh, dear, said Ellie, and hurried off to dump the lot. Obviously, the hot weather had done for it. The next thing was that Joe found the butter was ready to run off the dish. And it soon became clear that the cheese wouldn't be far behind. By this time, the hungry Joe was beginning to get desperate. Oh, well, let's try and pacify the man with a nice cup of tea. It usually works wonders, doesn't it?
Look at that. We'll have a cup of tea.
Now, what goes on in this house, eh? Every summer it's the same. Food thrown away.
Well, you can't help it in this hot weather.
Oh, it's daft, that's what it is.
Couldn't happen if we had a fridge.
A fridge? Well, that's it. Oh, why haven't we got a fridge?
Well, you can't.
Home service section. Mrs. Norris speaking.
This is Mrs. Barnes. I'm so sorry to trouble you.
Why, of course it's no trouble, Mrs. Barnes. As I told you, that's what we're here for.
That is sweet of you, Mrs. Norris. Do you know, I do feel a fool. I'm sure it's my fault, but I still don't seem to have quite got the hang of it.
Don't worry, Mrs. Barnes. Between us, I'm sure we'll sort things out.
Couldn't you come in the morning?
All right, 11 o'clock tomorrow, then.